The transition we call death is perhaps the most profound mystery of human existence. For millennia, it has been veiled in speculation, faith, and fear. But what if the curtain could be pulled back, not by superstition, but through the documented insights of a man who could seemingly access a hidden realm of knowledge? Imagine a state of consciousness where time and space dissolve, and the entire record of a soul's journey becomes an open book. This was the world of Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, a man who in a state of trance provided over 14,000 documented readings on subjects ranging from health to the very nature of the soul. His descriptions of the afterlife were not vague promises of heaven or threats of hell, but detailed, compassionate accounts of a purposeful, structured transition. He spoke of a journey, a period of profound adjustment and learning that begins the very moment we draw our last breath. Today, we will explore the intricate roadmap he laid out for what the soul experiences in the critical first 40 days after leaving the physical body. This journey into the unseen is one that touches the deepest parts of our curiosity and our hope for meaning. If you believe that life is more than just this physical experience and you want to explore these profound concepts further, please take a moment to click the like button and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue to bring these important spiritual discussions to light. The moment of departure from the physical world, according to Edgar Cayce, is not an end, but a profound shift in perception. It is the severance of what he, and many other spiritual traditions, refer to as the silver cord. This is described as a vibrant, energetic tether that connects our physical body to our more subtle, spiritual, or astral body. As long as this cord is intact, life persists no matter how tenuous. The final separation of this cord is the true moment of physical death. For some, this separation is gentle, a peaceful release, often experienced as floating upwards or moving through a tunnel toward a gentle light. For others, particularly those whose passing was sudden or who held immense attachment to their physical lives, this moment can be one of confusion and disorientation. They may not immediately realize what has happened, lingering for a time in a state of bewilderment, close to the people and places they knew. Cayce's readings suggest that the soul, now freed from the dense vibrations of the earthly body, is not immediately whisked away to a distant realm. Instead, it often remains within the Earth's sphere for a period, able to perceive the world it just left, but from an entirely new vantage point. It is a state of being, not of place. The soul can now perceive thoughts and feelings with perfect clarity. The facades and unspoken words that define so much of human interaction simply fall away. It sees the genuine love, the hidden grief, and the true intentions of those left behind. This can be a period of immense comfort, as the soul witnesses the authentic love of family and friends. Conversely, it can also be a time of sorrow, as the soul may perceive unresolved conflicts or pain that it contributed to. This initial phase is a delicate time of adjustment, where the soul begins to shed the heavy cloak of its earthly identity, the worries about finances, the pride in worldly achievements, the sting of old resentments, and starts to remember its true nature as a being of light. It is during this period that the prayers and thoughts of the living have their most potent effect. Cayce emphasized that focused, loving prayer is not just a comfort for the grieving, it is a tangible force that can assist the transitioning soul. These prayers act as a beacon of light, helping the soul to navigate any initial confusion, release its earthly attachments, and move toward the higher realms of consciousness. Love, in its purest form, becomes the energy that uplifts and guides the newly departed. This is not about pleading or bargaining with a deity, but about sending a direct transmission of supportive, high-vibrational energy to the soul, reminding it of its eternal nature and encouraging it to embrace the next stage of its incredible journey. Following this initial period of separation and adjustment, the soul is gently guided into one of the most significant experiences of its entire existence, the life review. This is a concept that has been echoed in countless near-death experiences, but Cayce's readings provide a unique depth and perspective on its purpose. It is crucial to understand that this is not a judgment from an external, patriarchal figure sitting on a throne. There is no celestial court weighing sins and virtues. Instead, The life review is an intensely personal and holographic immersion into one's own life, experienced from a completely new perspective. The soul is guided to what Cayce referred to as the Akashic Records, a universal library or energetic field that holds the vibrational imprint of every thought, word, and deed from all of time. Here, in this realm of pure information, the soul does not merely watch its life like a film, it relives it. But this time the experience is magnified. The soul feels not only what it felt during each event, but also the full impact of its actions on every other person involved. When you relive a moment of kindness, you don't just remember the act. You feel the warmth and gratitude it sparked in the other person's heart. You experience the ripple effect of that single act of compassion as it spread outwards. More profoundly, and often more painfully, when you relive a moment of anger, a harsh word, or a selfish act, you feel the exact pain, humiliation, or sorrow that your actions caused in another. You experience their tears, their fear, their disappointment, not as an observer but as if it were your own. This is the universe's perfect and compassionate system of learning. The purpose is not punishment, but realization. It is about understanding the fundamental truth of oneness, that we are all interconnected, and that what we do to another, we are, in the most literal sense, doing to ourselves. For the first time, the soul sees its earthly life with complete clarity, without the justifications and defenses of the ego. It sees the moments it chose love and the moments it chose fear. It sees the opportunities for growth it embraced and those it shied away from. This is a profound moment of self-confrontation, of meeting oneself in total honesty. The guides and loved ones who may be present during this review are not there to condemn but to offer love, support, and context, helping the soul to absorb these powerful lessons with grace and understanding. The Life Review sets the stage for the next phase of the soul's journey, as it is through this comprehensive self-evaluation that the soul, in collaboration with its spiritual guides, begins to understand what lessons it still needs to learn and what karmic patterns it needs to resolve. Once the Life Review is complete, the soul has a much clearer understanding of itself and the trajectory of its growth. It has faced the consequences of its choices in the most direct way imaginable. Now begins a period of deeper acclimatization, a process of navigating the various dimensions or planes of consciousness that surround the physical realm. Edgar Cayce's cosmology is not a simple heaven or hell dichotomy. He described a multi-layered reality, a spectrum of vibrational states, each corresponding to a different level of spiritual awareness. The soul's destination after the Life Review is not arbitrary. It is a matter of energetic resonance. A soul naturally gravitates to the plane that matches its own dominant vibration, which was cultivated by its thoughts, desires, and actions on Earth. Think of it like tuning a radio. You can only pick up the station that matches the frequency you've dialed in. Similarly, a soul filled with unresolved anger, materialism, or resentment will find itself in a realm where those same energies are dominant. Cayce referred to these as the lower planes, or sometimes the borderlands. These are not places of fire and brimstone, but rather states of consciousness characterized by darkness, confusion, and the endless, frustrating pursuit of earthly appetites that can no longer be satisfied. A soul addicted to physical pleasures may find itself in a gray, lifeless realm, endlessly craving sensations it can no longer experience. A soul consumed by greed may wander in a state of perpetual wanting, surrounded by the phantoms of wealth it can no longer possess. This is the true hell, a self-created state of separation and suffering, born from the soul's own attachments and negative patterns. It is a state of spiritual quarantine, designed not for eternal punishment, but to contain these destructive energies and give the soul time to recognize the futility of its attachments. Conversely, a soul that cultivated love, service, and a desire for spiritual understanding on Earth will naturally be drawn to higher planes of light, beauty, and peace. These are realms of incredible learning, creativity, and joy. Here the soul might enter what could be described as great halls of learning, studying universal laws alongside wise teachers. It might work with celestial music, color, and energy to create forms of breathtaking beauty. It might join groups of other souls dedicated to specific tasks, such as helping newly transitioned souls or sending healing energy back to the earth plane. The possibilities are as limitless as consciousness itself. Cayce spoke of 7 primary spheres or levels of attainment, each corresponding to the major planetary influences in astrology, suggesting a cosmic curriculum for soul development. A soul might spend time in a realm associated with Venus to learn more about love, or one associated with Jupiter to expand its understanding of wisdom and abundance. The key principle is that the afterlife is not a static state of rest, but a dynamic, active, and purposeful continuation of our spiritual education. The first 40 days are a critical period for the soul to find its appropriate level and begin this next chapter of its education. This period of adjustment and education leads us to the significance of the 40-day marker. Why 40 days? This number holds a powerful archetypal significance in many spiritual traditions. We see it in the 40 days of rain for Noah, the 40 years the Israelites wandered in the desert, and the 40 days Jesus spent in the wilderness. It consistently represents a period of trial, purification, transition, and completion. According to Cayce's readings, this period holds a similar significance for the soul's journey. The 40 days represent the time it generally takes for the soul to complete its primary detachment from the earthly plane and its immediate post-mortem experiences. During this time, the soul fully processes the lessons of its life review. It confronts and works through the powerful emotional and mental habits it developed during its incarnation. For a soul heavily enmeshed in earthly concerns, this can be a challenging period of letting go. It's akin to a deep detoxification process where the soul purges itself of the residual energies of fear, attachment, and ego. This process is not undertaken alone. Cayce consistently spoke of the presence of guides, teachers, and loved ones who have passed on before. These benevolent beings provide comfort, guidance, and instruction, helping the soul to understand its experiences and prepare for what lies ahead. They act as loving tutors, helping the soul to release its burdens and embrace its new, expanded state of awareness. By the end of the 40 days, most souls have achieved a state of clarity and have been assimilated into the appropriate spiritual plane that matches their level of development. They have completed their orientation to the afterlife. They understand where they are, why they are there, and what the next steps in their journey of growth will be. This does not mean that all karma is resolved or that their evolution is complete. Far from it. But it does mark the end of the immediate transitional phase. The umbilical silver cord to the physical life has been fully severed, not just physically, but psychically and emotionally as well. The soul is no longer a departed human, but a fully fledged citizen of the spiritual realms, ready to engage in the work and learning of that dimension. It is for this reason that many cultures, particularly in Orthodox Christianity, hold special memorial services on the 40th day, as it is seen as the final farewell, a moment when the soul fully ascends to its new spiritual home. A beautiful and empowering aspect of Edgar Cayce's teachings is the active role the living can play in this sacred 40-day process. We are not helpless spectators in the grieving process. We are active participants in our loved one's transition. Our consciousness can connect with theirs, and our intentions can have a profound impact. The most powerful tool we have, as mentioned earlier, is prayer. However, Cayce's view of prayer was specific. It was not about mournful pleading or desperate bargaining, which can actually create a heavy, sorrowful energy that can weigh a soul down and make it harder for them to let go of the earth plane. Instead, the most helpful form of prayer is one of uplifting love and release. It involves holding the soul in our thoughts with feelings of unconditional love, gratitude for the life they lived, and encouragement for their onward journey. It is a prayer of release, willingly letting them go into the light, trusting that they are safe and cared for. Visualizing them surrounded by brilliant, healing light and being greeted by loving guides or family members who have passed before is a powerful technique. We can speak to them in our minds, not to hold them back with our grief, but to reassure them that we will be all right and that it is okay for them to move on. This selfless love acts as a spiritual tailwind, propelling them forward on their path. Furthermore, Cayce suggested that resolving our own negative feelings toward the departed is a crucial act of service. If there were conflicts, resentments, or unspoken words, holding on to that anger or guilt can create energetic ties that hinder the soul's progress. The act of genuine forgiveness, whether spoken aloud or held sincerely in the heart, can sever these negative cords and free both our soul and theirs. It is an act of spiritual hygiene that cleanses the energetic space between the physical and non-physical worlds. Living our own lives well in a manner that would honor their memory, by choosing kindness, by being of service, by continuing to grow spiritually, also sends waves of positive energy that support them. In this interconnected reality that Cayce described, every act of love ripples out across the dimensions, and there is no greater gift we can give to those who have made the journey ahead of us than to continue to be a source of love and light in the world they have temporarily left behind. The 40-day period is an invitation for us, the living, to participate in one of the most sacred and loving acts of service possible, helping a soul return home.